Let's turn to Truth or Fake. Kathleen, Marshall and Deborah, over by the big board. Good evening to you. In this edition, images of the war in Ukraine falsely used to illustrate the ongoing Israeli ground offensive in Gaza. Tell us more about this.
That's right, Mark. Israel's ground offensive of Gaza is underway of what's being called the second phase of this war between Israel and Hamas that started 3 weeks ago. As this ground invasion of Gaza began over the weekend, we found that some users are sharing images that have nothing to do with the war between Israel and Hamas and more to do with the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. Let's begin with this first viral post on TikTok 3 days ago with almost 240,000 views already, where you can read the hashtag Stand with Palestine and Free Gaza. Let's take a look at the video where you could see the text that reads, Hamas destroyed 10 Israeli tanks last night. We can also see 10 tanks in this video that have been compromised. Some are also on fire, as users claim that these are tanks, Israeli tanks, destroyed by Hamas. Mark?
What are we really seeing, I wonder? Tell us what you found these images really show us. Give us a bit more on that.
Well, Mark, we found that these images do not show Israel's ground offensive in Gaza, but images of the war in Ukraine. So we conducted a reverse image search on both Google search and Yandex. We found Yandex to be more effective. You'll see why this search actually yielded many results in a Russian language and in the news as well, where we see the same image as in the viral claims and the fake claims, all of them speaking of a successful Russian offensive in Ukraine that took place on June 10th. 2023. In particular, we found this article by Metro that is titled, Putin's new tactic is remote-controlled tanks full of explosives to blow up troops. And if you scroll down in this article, we found the same image as in the false claims, detailing that what we see in this image are German Leopard tanks and U.S. Bradley fighting vehicles that were destroyed by Russia. In particular, Reuters details this article from June 11th that Russia said it destroyed at least 7 German-made Leopard tanks and 5 U.S.-made Bradley vehicles. It could have been more or less. Images that nonetheless came from the Russian Ministry of Defense, and you can in fact find the original images posted on their Telegram account. Here's the same image as in the fake claims, where they detail that this is the destruction of Western armored vehicles in the southern Donetsk direction. And in fact, if we can compare the tanks, you can actually see that these do resemble the U.S. Bradley tanks. You could see them right there. And we could also see the Leopard, the German Leopard tanks right here in this image. What we don't see in this image are the Israeli tanks called Merkava 4 tanks that are the tanks that we know have been employed in Israel's ground offensive in Gaza.
One of the problems, I suppose, Kathleen, is that if you're an ordinary citizen, a tank is a tank is a tank, isn't it? So you basically look at it, you tend to believe what is written, and that's where everybody gets trapped. You've got another example that claims to show fighting between Israel and Palestinians.
Indeed, that would be in this post on TikTok from October 15th. It's been seen over 17,000 times, where this user claims to show fighting between Israel and Palestine. The text on the video reads exactly that, where we see tanks in action. We also see soldiers, weapons being deployed, and overall a variety of military ground operations. This debunk, however, was easy because in the image, right off the bat, what we see is a tank with the letter Z on it, which is a characteristic of Russian tanks in Ukraine, of which most of them carry this symbol painted with the letter Z, characteristic of Russian tanks. And we also found the same image posted on the website of the Russian Foreign Ministry, where you could see the same tank in action with the same letter Z on it. So here what we have 2 images, 2 fake claims made on TikTok that claim to show Israel's ground offensive in Gaza, but they actually show images of the war in Ukraine. However, it's not only images of the war in Ukraine that have been used. Here, BBC fact-checking journalist also posted these these debunks, where they found that these images from Yemen from 2021 and Syria from 2019 have been widely used to illustrate the expansion of Israel's ground operation in Gaza.
Who is behind these things? What is their motivation? They're the questions we're always left with. Catalina, though, thank you very much indeed for showing the truth and the fake there.